This is the Relevant Podcast.
It's episode 992, getting close to 1,000. It's the Relevant Podcast here in Orlando. I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and joining me from Loverland, Virginia, it's Jesse Carey.
Hello, hello.
From Nashville, Tennessee, artist, producer, and mogul, Derek Miner.
What's happening?
And Jamie Ivey is out this week, so sitting in from somewhere in Texas, our very own downtown Emily Brown.
Hey, y'all.
So you're back from, we've given airtime to your travels.
Yes.
You have made it back to a home base for a little bit of time, family home base, right?
Yes. Yeah. I'm in Fort Worth with my brother and sister-in-law and 3 very loud nephew and nieces.
I have a question, Emily. Okay. So you're an introvert.
Yes.
I'm an introvert that can turn on, you have to turn on the extrovert, but okay. I watch a lot of TV at nights. Like when that's how I recharge. It's just like go all day, meetings, people, whatever. I'd like to just chill and get lost into TV. I binge watch a lot of shows. We talk about it all day long. When you're on the road like this and you're staying with somebody, I would think that they feel the obligation to entertain you and stuff. Do you ever get the chance to just shut the door and like binge watch TV and stuff? Do you have any sort of normalcy like that? Or are you on vacation for the last 9 months?
It's been a weird mix. So every person I stay with, I clarify that I do not want to be entertained because I don't want them to feel like they have to. I mean, if they want to impress me, I'm not going to say no, but I don't want them to feel like they have to have like an itinerary for us.
Oh, you're not entertained. Is this not why you are here?
You don't. If they don't have plans for that evening, you don't just like sit across from them and just stare at them in a chair and just then start tapping your wristwatch. Yeah, like what are we doing?
Maybe I'll start doing that. that. But no, a lot of times like. I've realized my friends also do the same thing where they just watch TV every night. And so it's been interesting because I absolutely just let them pick. And so I am pleasantly surprised every time my friends pick shows. And I'm like, okay, didn't know you were into this.
Are you ever silently judging them when they fire up like Outer Banks or something?
Okay.
I like Outer Banks, honestly.
When she was in Orlando, she came by one night and I was watching the Kardashians and she was like, oh, sweet. Yeah. I've been meaning to catch up on this. I'm like, no judgment at all. This is great.
Yeah.
Because you were watching the Kardashians?
Hey, that was hilarious because that episode's like maybe 45 minutes long. It took us 2 hours to get through it because we kept talking. We kept pausing to talk about the Kardashians.
Emily,
what?
Do you ever like
hold on, Jesse, don't brush over this. We have to, Jesse, don't brush over this. This is a prime moment.
Okay.
Now here.
Okay. First of all,
I need you to explain.
Okay.
Your son.
You ever watched an episode? It's a great show.
First off, I need y'all to know who Cameron is. Cameron is like snooty entertainment guy. He won't watch superhero shows.
Right.
He won't do nothing.
No.
But you will watch the Kardashians.
Yeah.
I need you to make it make sense for me.
Don't judge it until you try it.
Cameron mainlines Bravo programming.
Like, Bravo. I never watched the Kardashians. I don't watch E. I don't watch Chris Lee. I don't watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I never watched that. I'm a Bravo. Okay, so prestige TV, comedies, and then if I just want to have the laptop out and stuff, and I just want to have sound in the house, I put on like dumb reality TV shows. The drama, and so I had heard.
So
with this
you
new
want
Hulu,
Kim Kardashian arguing in your house in the background? Is what you're telling me.
So they went over to Hulu and they started this new show, The Kardashians, right? And Emily and everybody was telling me this is actually good, and I was like, all right, I got Hulu, I'll check it out. And I'm telling you, it was so much better than any of the Bravo junk. It's actually the new show is actually really good. Leave me alone.
Very good.
But you won't watch The Boys.
Yeah.
I don't have to suspend belief that Kim Kardashian can fly away and save the day.
The boy, I'm going to be on Derek's side.
You have to suspend belief to watch anything that got to do with the Kardashians because their life is not a normal life. So
no, that's true. That's true.
You bring up a good point.
But go ahead, Emily. Go ahead and support me, please. Support me. Thank you.
The Boys is very good. I mean, check the content warnings, but it is very good. But I also like superhero stuff. So
yeah.
it's easier for me to watch it than.
But I like it how you break it into categories here. You have like the stuff that you're watching that like the lights are low. Right. It's that time every week.
Better Call Saul's on. It has my unbroken focus. That is what I'm doing.
But then you have the second category, and Emily, this is what I appreciate. It seems like when you get comfortable enough with whoever is hosting you, you go from watching like a show with them, like just offline. We were talking about the rehearsal, like like the Better Call Sauls, the rehearsals, like the kind of the high minded prestige stuff that you're going to talk about after. But this is how you know you're a really good friend of someone is when they put on their background. For Cameron, it's Bravo. For some people, it's like sports talk. For others, it's just pure HGTV. That's just on in the background. Yep. That's what I feel like, Emily. You have a certain degree of comfort with your host.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is hilarious. Just the different movies and shows that I've watched this year. Not that I wouldn't necessarily pick them, but it's honestly funnier just to see what my friends want to pick. So one of my friends, I stayed with her for a week. We watched the entire Twilight series. Loved it. Great week. Had no complaints. And then the next week I was watching, I was staying with another friend who does enjoy more like prestige movies and shows. And so just the quality of content was a lot different. Keeps things fresh though. Keeps it a little spicy.
What are you watching right now that's interesting? I
actually am watching The Rehearsal. So I'm with my brother. He is obsessed with Nathan Fielder. He loved Nathan For You.
What is The Rehearsal?
That is a great question.
No one knows.
Yeah. Are you guys
I saw Questlove tweeting about it. He was stumbled onto it when he was browsing on HBO and he ended up watching it. He's like, I'd never heard of this guy. And so now all of a sudden he's going back and doing, watching his old shows
Nathan
and stuff
For
like
You.
that.
And I loved Nathan For You back in the day, and which was Nathan Fielder's Comedy Central show. He's a Canadian comedian, but he's also sort of this prankster. But if people haven't watched Rehearsal, I hesitate to say too much about it other than you want to watch at least the first 2 episodes. Like if you watch the first one, it's sort of a red herring. The first one, do you think that's accurate, Emily?
Yeah, because I think it's a good first one because it really sets the tone for what you're about to get into. But then the next one shifts in a way. But
it shifts the focus to Nathan Fielder in a way, and sort of the ethics of the crazy thing is the show is really through the lens of this kind of elaborate sort of hidden camera prank show is an exploration of the ethics of reality TV, the ethics of child acting, it is even the ethics of getting emotionally invested into fictional characters. What are some of the human results of that? Emily, it's hard to say too much about what the show is without kind of giving it away because the show kind of reinvents itself every couple of episodes,
exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So I watched the first one, didn't fall in love with it, but then I've been seeing people tweeting if you grew up in the church at all, you need to watch episode 2. And I was like, I'm intrigued. So I'll give it another shot.
Yeah, so. It's definitely worth watching. Derek, are you familiar? Did you ever watch Nathan For You on Comedy Central?
Never in my life.
It's that absurdist but high-minded comedy where it's so stupid, but it's also so above. I
haven't watched any of it, but you know what I have been watching?
What?
And you want to know what? Do you want to know what's crazy? This is the craziest thing in the world. I'm going to read the top 10 websites. Okay, number 10 is WhatsApp. Number 9 is Twitter. Number 8 is YouTube. Number 7 is Netflix. Number 6 is Amazon. Number 5, Apple. 4, Microsoft. Facebook, Google. And the number 1 consumed website, period, is TikTok. And do you want to know what I have been obsessed with?
Tell us.
Patrick Cloud. That dude is a genius. He has this skit about a mouse perspective of eating cheese, and there's 3 mice with him, and one of them actually gets poisoned, and they're having this conversation, and I've watched it 100 times. I posted it on my IG. That's what I watch. I don't watch shows anymore. All I watch is random skits from people like Kev on Stage, Joshua Neal, Patrick Cloud. That's all I watch. To me, that's the best television, period.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't get any better than that, my opinion.
You know, you need
And
to
The
balance
Boys.
that out by reading a book. You know, like, your brain is going to change, my friend. You need to read a book in between your TikTok sessions.
What's the difference between that and the Kardashians?
Hey, at least it's longer than 37 seconds.
Shut
I mean,
your
at least my
face.
attention.
Oh, so you're telling me consuming it in 45 minutes of trashiness is, I get it mine in 30 seconds. You know what I'm saying? You got 45 minutes invested. You feel me? Do you feel me?
I'm doing other things to stretch my brain while that junk's on.
Well, I'm stretching my brain. Shoot.
If you like the weird humor, like the mouse perspective of eating cheese, you might like The Rehearsal because it is very weird comedy. So you might, I mean, I think the best way to describe the comedy though is if you've ever seen the Scott's Tots episode of The Office, it's like that, but a whole series.
But non-scripted.
Non-scripted, just like the cringe humor.
Yeah. So it's, I mean, Nathan Fielder, you know, he produced segments for like Sacha Baron Cohen, like when he was doing, you know, he did stuff with like Borat. He did
Ali G show.
Yeah. So he was involved with Sacha Baron Cohen back in the day, and it's sort of like Borat meets like Tim and Eric. I don't know if you were familiar with Tim and Eric.
I'm not familiar with
Tim Heidecker and Eric Weierheim, who had like an Adult Swim show where it's sort of like absurdist comedy. If you can sort of blending those two kind of styles into really kind of like dark commentary about the modern human condition, that's the best way I could frame The Rehearsal. Definitely an interesting, it's one of those shows that after you watch, you want to call somebody who just watched it and kind of unpack what you think you just saw, you know?
Yeah, my brother and I were like talking out throughout the whole time, just like, can't believe this is real. We want to know the budget for the show, truthfully, because
I mean, I thought that about episode 1.
There are some elaborate
budget.
things.
Wait a second. Why is the budget so crazy?
Well, because like he builds sets that are unbelievably elaborate for each episode, and like literally the first episode, I'm watching it going, who approved this budget? This is absolutely insanity. This is not sustainable.
Yeah. He's got HBO money though, and he knows it.
HBO money is long, buddy.
it starts to take like a real Truman Show type of trajectory. Where you know, there's like there's a reality that he is completely staged, that he will decide to change the rules of that reality sort of at the whim when things get uncomfortable. Again, it's very hard to describe, but if people are looking for a weird late summer TV kind of, you can, I think the first 4 or 5 by the time this is out will be out. If you're looking for something just to really kind of sink your mind into, and you don't mind, to Emily's point, getting very uncomfortable while watching TV.
If you like Scott's Tots, then this show is for you.
You'll like this.
I hate Scott's Tots. Jesse loves Scott's Tots.
So,
this is the one
Cameron,
difference.
are you watching the show?
I watched the first episode and I didn't fall in love with it, but everybody is saying it's just like an appetizer and you've got to keep going because the second episode and beyond, it like goes to another level. So
unlike anything I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go back to it.
That's the safest review you could possibly get. It's unlike anything I've ever seen.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
You know what's funny? The Scott's Tots episode did not make me uncomfortable. Like I don't know why.
Have a soul.
I feel bad. I feel bad.
It's like the Salem witch trials. If you float, you're a witch. If you are not bothered by Scott's Tots, you do not have a soul.
I was like, yo, this man is a menace.
Derek, what have you watched that has made you cringe, whether it's online or on TV?
Cringe.
Like, is there anything that like is like cringe inducing for you?
Bro, you know what? I can't think of much. Like only thing that makes me like uncomfortable is like excessive violence, like, or some kind of torture thing or something like that. Like I hate to see people hurt, but like something like Scott's Tots, that's like this man straight lied to these little kids. Like, it's just, that doesn't make me uncomfortable. It makes me just say, that's messed up. I don't know. Maybe it's my trauma growing up because I just grew up with.
Yeah, you know what? That's true.
Like,
maybe if you saw real things, that something like that doesn't faze you. That's interesting. I mean, some of the stories you've told me of things that you've experienced, you would be desensitized to Scott's tots being anything at all. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
Okay.
for me, I'm just like, yeah, all right, this white man lied to these little kids. It is what it is. Like,
lesson learned.
Well, we have a great show in store for you today. Coming up later, we talked to one of our favorite Christian rappers. 1K Phew joins us. He has a new song that drops today, actually. Stay tuned. Up next, Tyler joins us for Relevant Buzz. You're listening to The Killers. The song is Boy. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Mercy Ships. Globally, 5 billion people lack access to surgical care. In sub-Saharan Africa, there's only one surgeon for every 200,000 people. Mercy Ships provides free, life-transforming surgeries for people who have little to no access to medical care. They help the blind see, straighten twisted limbs, remove deadly tumors, treat cleft conditions, and so much more. With state-of-the-art hospital ships, they provide safe surgery to children and adults living with treatable conditions, and it's completely free of charge. They do all this work with an all-volunteer crew of professionals who donate their time and talents. Surgeons, stewards, nurses, engineers, and more make the world a better place. Your donation today provides free, safe surgeries to people in desperate need of help. All gifts are matched, so please donate today at mercyships.org/relevant. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Tim Tebow's book, Look Again. Have you ever wondered what would change if you truly believed you were infinitely valuable to God? In his New York Times bestselling book, Look Again, Tim Tebow reveals the powerful truth that when we learn to see the image of God in every person, including those we struggle to love, everything changes. Tebow shares incredible stories from his work with people the world often overlooks, and it will challenge you to stand up to the lies, rediscover the worth that everyone has, and impact the world for good. Find Look Again by Tim Tebow, available now wherever books are sold. All right, it's time for
Relevant Buzz.
Please welcome to the show Relevant senior editor and Parisian correspondent, Paris bureau chief Tyler Huckabee, telling us what's happening at the intersection of faith and culture this week. Hey, Tyler.
Hey, bonjour, everyone.
Bonjour.
Hey, Tyler, before we jump in, before you were on, we were having a very interesting discussion about the show, The Rehearsal. And you tweeted something.
I've been watching it.
The listeners will tell us if it was actually interesting or not, Jesse.
Yeah, it was. I'll say this: we had a conversation about an interesting show. I'll say that. But Tyler, your tweet. Tyler sent out a tweet this past week, and it was a photoshopped image. And
I know what you're talking about.
And the rehearsal is so absurd that the tweet that Tyler sent, I just woke up in the morning and I hadn't seen like the news story that this Photoshop job was, and I'll give context here, was based on. I actually thought, did I miss the new episode of The Rehearsal? Because I don't is this where it goes? But you guys might have seen that image that was floating around from like CPAC. They had some weird like performance art thing where they had like a fake like jail cell, and there was like somebody in there. There was like someone
about
in
the
this
Marjorie Taylor Greene thing.
Yes.
That guy was pretending to be a January 6th
insurrection
in jail for January 6th.
He's got like an orange jumpsuit and a MAGA hat on.
Was
it photoshopped or not? That's the question for me. I was like, is it actually photoshopped?
That image was not photoshopped. Where Marjorie Taylor Greene is praying with someone who's pretending to be a January 6th, like in prison, as part of this weird performance art thing. But Tyler photoshopped in Nathan Nathan Fielder wearing, like on the show, he wears a laptop around his chest so he can, take notes.
Like a little harness.
Yeah.
Like he has a little harness to type on. Yeah.
And especially as his like setups and rehearsals for these unsuspecting poor people who signed up to be on the show get more and more elaborate.
Well, not just poor people, all types of people.
Yeah, I don't. They actually
Not
don't really get into
financially
their.
poor.
They don't get into the socioeconomic.
Just clarify.
Yeah.
He's not picking on the poor.
Yeah.
Oh,
not
I was gonna be like,
exclusively.
all right, that might be a little cringy, guys.
But Tyler,
Tyler,
I had one. I saw your tweet before I saw anything about the actual CPAC thing, and I literally thought, man, this show just keeps getting better. Like I literally thought your Photoshop commentary was reality. That's the world we're living in.
It created some confusion on the time. I didn't mean to cause internet drama with that because I think it's not. I don't know if you guys know this about me. I'm not much of a Photoshop aficionado. I'm not an expert. We've got other people at Relevant who do that job. I'm not one of them. So it's not like a seamless Photoshop of Nathan Fielder. It's very clearly like cut and pasted from elsewhere. But it's the internet. People aren't paying a lot of attention.
At a glance,
People aren't
when
paying a
you're
lot of attention,
scrolling,
and there were a lot of people who shared your confusion on that, Jesse.
Yeah,
That was really funny.
It made me wish it was an actual episode.
You know what?
Yeah.
Not my problem. I'm not apologizing.
Nor should you.
All right, what's going on this week, Tyler?
Well, we're not talking about the big news, of course, because we don't know what's going on at Mar-a-Lago. We're still in the aftermath of it. But by the time people hear this, they're going to know more about what happened at Mar-a-Lago
Praise
than
God.
we do right now. So we're jumping right.
Also,
we're
that's not our
leapfrogging
beat
right over
at
that.
all. That's not our
God.
beat.
We don't do politics. I don't know what the FBI does. I don't know what the rules are. I barely know
Were you
what
about to say
FBI
you don't know what the
stands for.
FBI does?
Truth be told, it seems like they have a pretty broad job description and they just show up in a lot of places. So I'm not totally sure that I know all of what the FBI does, but in any case, not our beat.
They investigate. It's a bureau fully focused
full
on
of
investigating.
investigators.
Let's just put it this way: you do not want to be on the other side of them. That's the
Yeah, it's not a good sign if
We'll
they
just leave
show
it
up,
at that, and we'll just call it.
And I know the FBI has no jurisdiction over here.
I don't know. I saw the Bourne Identity, man.
Tyler Snowden over
They'll
here,
find
boy.
you.
Yeah.
They'll find you.
Next
They'll
thing we
find
know,
you.
Tyler's going to be involved in a rooftop chase over, like jumping over cafes and stuff. You know,
He's going to be coming at us from a lakeside pavilion in Italy next week. Like,
I picture. You know how every once in a while you be turning on like cable news and it's just like a random car chase, like in LA or whatever,
Sure.
and you just kind of pop in and they got the helicopter chasing them. I picture the Parisian equivalent of that is a rooftop chase where it's one guy who's clearly a secret agent because he's wearing a suit is jumping from rooftop to rooftop, like jumping on those little canopies and sliding over tables at a cafe where like four henchmen are chasing them. That's the Parisian equivalent of like a car chase, right, Tyler? You see that probably once, twice a week.
You're not on the interstate. You're not in the Hummer. It's not. There's no Fast Furious thing over here.
It's parkour.
It's like
parkour.
elaborate parkour. Through cafes and diners.
It's like John Wick parkour. Yeah.
They have like verandas and terraces that you can basically just trampoline off of. From one side of town to the other.
awnings, so you can
So
jump
you
off
said
of it
everybody. I
everywhere.
thought that was Italy. This is Super Mario. Is that what you said? Is that it's like a car chase?
It's a little
Mario
different here.
Brothers.
It's a little different here because you have to say "Sacre Bleu" every time that you jump over.
and you have to twist
Derek,
off
the
of
cities are so large. I mean, there are literally criminals who have parkoured from France all the way to Italy before. Yeah, it's
Got it.
Yeah. There's no. Yeah,
pretty
that's
impressive.
So the first piece of actual news that is from the U.S. and that is on our beat. I'm starting off with a question here of you guys. When you think about your friend lists of people you would consider to be real friends, how much socioeconomic diversity would you say you have among your friend groups? Do you feel like most people are more or less in your same sort of roughly same financial bracket, or do you feel like you have a pretty wide diversity of friends in different financial groups?
I think majority are in the same bracket, but there's like a few that break out either more or less, just for various reasons.
Mine is wide. It's like, it's wide.
Yeah, I think there's sort of like a bell curve in my social,
Oh yeah, that's the way to put it.
You know, but I would say there are groups of friends that it's pretty narrow. You know,
that's pretty common. That probably won't surprise you to learn that most people, not just in terms of socioeconomic diversity, but almost any kind of diversity, most people's friend groups are pretty homogenous. And the reason this is interesting is because of this new study that came out from Nature magazine that analyzed 84% of the U.S. population. Now, that's a big sample group. They analyzed 84% of the U.S. population via our Facebook accounts. They use Facebook to do this. So this is about 72 million people. And what they found is that Americans have sort of an interesting fight in this battle against wealth inequality that we've seen over the last few years as wealth inequality has risen. And that is friendship with people who are outside of your socioeconomic scale of where you're at. The study found that poor children who live in areas with friendships that transcend class and income can make it significantly more money in adulthood than poor children who grew up in neighborhoods with no such friendships. As the New York Times put it, quote, the study found that if poor children grew up in neighborhoods where at least 70% of their friends are wealthier than they are, and that's the typical rate of friendship for higher income children, it can increase their future incomes by 20% on average, by a really significant amount of money, 20%. And we've known for a long time that being raised in an area where there is more socioeconomic diversity can be really helpful. But now we know a little more about why that is. Creating these friendships, especially when you're younger, goes a long ways for reasons we don't entirely understand yet towards helping you have more money in the future and kind of breaking that cycle of poverty that can affect so many Americans when they're born into lower socioeconomic backgrounds.
Well, I can talk from my my background. I grew up with mostly everybody was broke, and being in music, it like catapulted me into a whole different world of people. So then it also catapulted me into a whole different world of knowledge and understanding. Sure. And so I know for myself, it just changed the culture of how I viewed money. Like I began to view it in a different way. So I think that's really valuable. I mean, that's why I started the Ownership is a New Black campaign. You know what I mean? Because that's the whole idea. Is for a lot of people, it's not even that they're inept or they're stupid. They're just not exposed to how wealth is generated. So that makes a lot of sense that if you put someone into a situation where they understand how wealth is generated, they begin to adapt and assimilate. It's assimilation in just a better way, in a good way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
And there's also the aspect of, the old adage, it's not always what you know, but it's who you know. It plugs you into like a network of people that, I'm not trying to say all relationships are like transactional, but when you're in relationship with people who are, successful in different areas, it can afford you an opportunity to have opportunities when a job or, some sort of like, professional circumstances arise that allow you to gain experience because of the relationships you have. I think it could be beneficial in a lot of ways, not just from a knowledge aspect, but also kind of just the relational one.
Well, to that point, I mean, they say, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. Right. Because like, if you love the Lord and you hang around people who don't go to church at all, eventually that's going to affect you. And likewise on the other side. And if you're like newly married and you hang around other married couples that are healthy and happy, when you guys hit your rough times, you're going to have been exposed to other couples who have navigated those rough times, as opposed to if you just hung out with single people or people who are jaded about marriage, it'd be easier to probably, give up during the hard times. I mean, just show me your friends. I'll show you your future. I'm telling you, when you have that in your mindset and you meet new people or you maybe are dating somebody or whatever, and you see their friend group and they're all struggling or they're all crazy or it's all drama, run, man, because it's like, that's their future. Do you want that in your life? I mean, so not just socioeconomic stuff, but like in all aspects of, emotional health, relational health, spiritual health, and financial health. I agree with this. I mean, it's really, really smart.
Derek, would you say that, because I know that this is a big part of your like job and something that you're passionate about, but I also know that with regards to this study, most of these people are like sitting there, friends who are a little poorer down and being like, here's how you make a budget. Here's how the stock market works and how you make smart investments. Would you say it's more of just like kind of being in a culture of people with more money making knowledge, basically, that kind of inspire? Like, what's the actual like knowledge passing process look like?
If I can speak for myself, it's more culture. For me, it's just things begin to change, right? So you watch sports less and watch MSNBC more. You know, when all the homies are at the table talking about, their Roth IRA, and you don't know anything about a Roth IRA, you're gonna be like, yo, what is that? And then as they begin to speak, then you go and do your research, and then you come back and say, hey, I started this thing. What do you think? And so even when we talk about the conversation of, your friend groups and it's not what you know, but who you know. Sometimes people limit that to being like, oh, hey, this guy could help this guy get a job. And it's not really just that. It's help someone that can actually help you navigate hardships, right? So if I'm in a financially tough spot, and then someone that's been there before, and I tell them what I'm going through as a friend, I confide in them, they can say, oh yeah, I've been through that before. You should do this, that. And this maybe could help you. Oh, and by the way, let me call another friend that may be able to help you navigate that situation. That's what you're seeing there in the network. So I think that is, this to me is very, I can speak for myself. It's a very basic concept. Your culture changes as you go into different circles and different groups. And usually, the majority is going to be the one that's going to influence people. It's rarely the minority that influences the group. So if 75% of your friends are wealthy, there's a high chance that you're probably going to get pulled up into wealth as opposed to you pulling them down. Right.
I think it's also important, like, financial transparency is a really big thing that can help a lot. Because like I have friends that, like I have a lot of friends that are pastors, and they are all very open about what their salary is, which obviously there's a lot of different factors that go into a salary. But I think that's also important to talk about, is what you make, because someone might think like, oh, well, the salary I make, that's fine. But it's like, well, if someone else is in a similar position, they're making more, kind of like figuring out, how do I get to a place where I'm more financially stable? I don't know. I just think that's really important. And I think it's really awkward to start that conversation because there's something about money that feels weird. But I've noticed with my friend group that when we've talked about stuff, like I have a friend who she was truly just not getting paid as much as she should have. And she, like, we graduated at the same time. She had a full degree. And I was like, you absolutely need to be making more than what you're making. And like, I think if we hadn't had that conversation, if she didn't have someone like me telling her, you need to be asking for more money or looking elsewhere for more money, like, I think she would have stayed in that career, and it would have just kind of affected her financially in the long term, because she wouldn't know that she has a much higher value than what she was being paid. So I think, just like financial transparency is awkward, but important.
Right. I agree. I totally agree.
And I guess the final and the last thing I'd say about that, and this is a harder thing to study too, but I think there's also value for people who have more money to make friends with people who don't have as much. Ooh. That's a really good thing too. And that can be you may not be able to put that into a bank account, what the value is there, but it's something that we certainly in the Bible can see. That's something that a lot of the greats, including Jesus himself, was very involved in. So don't discount that there's the highway goes both ways on those friendships.
I would affirm that for sure, because, and not just about money, again, everything. Like I was involved, I had a home group that met at my house for years, and it was all 24-year-olds. And I was hosting it. It was all 24-year-olds. It was led by a 24-year-old. I was just hosting it. And I'm telling you, sitting there listening to them talk themselves into this absolute terrible theology, and it's just like how they feel. And like every week, it was just maddening to me. Like, be in a room where there's multi-generations and a lot of different, experience levels and stuff like that. So you can learn from people who know more than you versus just being surrounded by your peers who don't know anything more than you do. You know what I mean? Like, try to be intentional about having friends that are older and younger and all the above.
I said I can say this again from experience. My good friend BJ Thompson, he started a nonprofit called Build a Better Us. Well, the funny story that started with me and my wife, and it was because me and my wife were struggling really, really bad. You know, neither one of us have seen a really biblical marriage in a sense. We saw some pretty toxic stuff growing up. And BJ said, well, hey, just come to our house on Wednesdays and then we'll just talk about marriage and we'll read through the scriptures and all of that. And it evolved into multiple different people coming to this group. And then he would do something even more cool. He would bring in like couples that have been married for like 20 years and they would tell us like different things. We'd ask questions and they tell us different things. And I mean, I can honestly say, I don't know what the future would be, but I don't think without BBU that me and my wife's marriage would be as healthy as it is. We're 14 years in the game now.
For sure.
And that's because we had somebody to actually, see us struggling and say, how can I help? They jumped in the fight with us. So definitely, I think, if you got friends that are struggling financially, I know it can feel awkward or you don't want to have the hero complex, but in any way, man, we're blessed to be a blessing. Spread that knowledge, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I feel like this is a good slice for you guys, something to bring for you guys, because there's a lot of wisdom about how to have good friendships in this group. So thanks for being able to share from your experiences. This next story is a little bit of a pivot, and this story does involve some conversations around pornography. So if you got little kids that are listening to this, then put them to bed, because this may not be for them.
Tyler, I like your scenario too, where people listen to this podcast, not like with AirPods in while they're doing dishes. The whole family is sitting around.
They're gathered around the radio like in the old times.
Yeah, like they're listening to like an old Western on there. All right, kids.
Little Fanny is on.
To bed with you. Yeah.
So send them to bed.
You heard it, kids. Time for bed.
And then crank that dial, because we're getting into the good stuff now. This is a story.
Y'all ever listen to NPR? Y'all ever listen to NPR in the morning and they're like, "Oh, just as a warning, this story has some graphic element," and before you can even touch the dial, they're throwing out words that your kid in the back seat's like,
you get a split second. We're giving you plenty of leeway here. The kids could still be brushing the teeth for all we know.
That's why I vamped a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, go ahead and hit pause.
If they're not in bed already, then you want them to hear this story, and that's on you. That's not my problem.
Again, I feel like the type of show you're making this out is like we're about to do an ad for buttermilk biscuit mix or something between stories, like old timey radio. But first, this segment's brought to you by Jan's Buttermilk Biscuits.
When I like to have a drag on a cigarette, the only one for me is Virginia Slims.
It's like, why does the Virginia Slim guy sound so creepy? You should get to bed, kids.
All right, what's the story?
So we are talking about the for now, the number one website in the world, and that is Pornhub, which is the largest distributor of adult content. Hold
on, wait a second. You said it's the number one website in the world?
Yeah, I think most trafficked.
I was on the wrong website. It said TikTok was Pornhub.
Yeah, I think some of the ones you were listing was apps. I'm wondering if it's more apps.
Maybe it's apps.
Okay, you're talking URL.
Okay, gotcha.
URL. I think www.
Derek, I was suspicious of your list when Microsoft.com.
Yeah, I know. Apple.com. I was like,
that was a red flag for me.
Who goes to Apple.com?
It must have been apps. It was apps. It was apps. Sorry, man. I had so much more faith in humanity than Pornhub being the number one site on the site.
We're so sorry to do this to you, Derek.
Man, I will say this. I spend a lot of time on Microsoft.com. I like to read terms and conditions when I can't fall asleep, and they have thousands of pages on there. It's great stuff.
Heavy hangs the head that wears the crown, because Pornhub is going through it right now. This week or last week, their parent company MindGeek learned that Visa and MasterCard have suspended all card payments for advertising. The reason for this is kind of a long story that I think we may have talked about here before, is that Pornhub has come under a lot of scrutiny for the lack of regulations that it has regarding the content on its site. There investigators have found numerous instances of content involving minors, content involving sexual assault that has made it onto Pornhub's site before, and they have been slow in some cases to take this down, even when the people who are involved in these videos reach out and ask for them to. So Visa is currently grappling with a lawsuit from a woman who was just 13 years old when her boyfriend filmed an explicit video of her that was later posted to Pornhub. She says Visa knowingly facilitated the sexual abuse of minors. Visa has unsuccessfully tried to get this lawsuit dismissed, but U.S. District Judge Cormac Carney said Visa either knew or should have known what its payments were being used for. He said in his statement, quote, "It is simple. Visa made the decision to continue to recognize MindGeek as a merchant despite its alleged knowledge that MindGeek monetized child pornography. MindGeek made the decision to continue monetizing child porn, and there are not enough facts pled to suggest that the latter decision depended on the former." So without Visa and MasterCard, the two biggest credit card companies in the US, MindGeek is kind of screwed. About 3 members of its executive team have jumped ship in the last 2 weeks, apparently not seeing a future for them there anymore. And right now, the whole website is kind of just dead in the water, not able to make any money. It's really not clear what's going to be next for them.
Good.
Yeah.
Maybe the number one website will become TikTok now. You know,
That's
Right.
true. Yeah.
Again, I'm spending most of my time on Microsoft.com, guys. So
So yeah, this has been, I think, a long time coming for MindGeek. A lot of the writing has been on the wall for them for a little while. Visa and MasterCard have suspended payments to them before, but those have been reinstated after Pornhub kind of promised to clean up its act a little bit and put in some more regulations. But it just hasn't been enough for the court system, and certainly not for Visa or MasterCard now. And right now, there's no sign they're going to be putting those payments back in place. So it could be the end of an era here, but we'll see what happens in the next few weeks.
Wow.
And that might set a precedence too for other sites, right?
Yeah, yeah. Pornhub's the big one, but there's obviously, tons and countless of these sites, and they're very hard. They are hard to regulate. Like there's the FBI. Like I said, I don't know a lot about the FBI, but there's only so much ground they can cover on the internet. But this is a major part, something that they have a whole division that's devoted to this, and the more scrutiny that's been put on it by the White House and by Congress, the more they've been trying to beef up their department to make sure that these companies are following the law, which many of them are not doing.
Well, there you go. It still cracks me up, and I've said this on the show before, but like in our weekly analytics, we did an article a long time ago listing like 3 porn sites have more traffic than Google.com, blah, blah, blah. That was like the headline. And like literally people searching for the search phrase porn sites find the relevantmagazine.com article. And that article is always high up in our analytics, which is really funny to me because the bait and switch that those people experience is hilarious. Hey, we should just change out the text of that article and just make it a call to salvation. Have an altar call at the end. Like, hey, God knows what you were really looking for. Jesus has a word for you.
We just post like John 3:16 or something.
Yeah,
That's all it is.
or just a gif of Jesus just shaking his head like
Like wagging his finger.
I love you enough to have intercepted what you were trying to do on the internet, my friend.
yeah, this is tough love here.
The true Jesus truth.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, Tyler?
This will be really short, but it's just a cool thing that we're paying attention to over there. The number one, the highest rated, most watched Hulu debut of all time came out last week. It's called Prey. It's the latest in the Predator franchise, and I don't think many people expected a whole lot from this movie. It went straight to Hulu for crying out loud, and the Predator, obviously, it's not the most highly thought of cerebral film franchise in the world.
How dare you? How dare you?
I'm not saying anything bad about it. I like the Predator movies.
You give me one more film where Carl Weathers gets his arm ripped off. Okay? It's a masterpiece. All right?
I've never seen it.
Back me up here. Back me up on Predator.
And Danny
please.
Glover's in part 2. What are you talking about?
Cameron, once you're done watching the Kardashians, you should watch
Jesse
the Predator
Ventura.
series.
Why would I
Do a
watch
Predator marathon. The first one's great. The first one has the iconic Arnold Schwarzenegger line, "Get to the chopper." That's where "Get to the chopper." That is the Get to the Chopper movie.
The British out, you fools!
You went German on him. He's Austrian.
Listen, in the jungle, it all blends together. Okay, he's trying to get there's a predator from a different planet who you can't even see in the jungle. His accent's blurring. He's panicking. Give him a break. Just get to the chopper. That's the message here. Okay.
All right.
So Prey comes out, and it's the highest critically rated of the franchise. It's at about 90% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's also why it's notable. It is the first franchise movie to have a entirely, or at least predominantly, indigenous or Native American cast. This is set in early 1700s in America.
Native German or Native Austrian?
In which this is in North America. North America pre-Columbus North America, and it lands among an indigenous tribe, and so they're the ones that face off against it instead of Arnold Schwarzenegger and the boys. And it's been really cool to see this sort of as a moment of rising indigenous representation on TV. In addition to this, you have Reservation Dogs, this Taika Waititi's show on FX that follows a group of indigenous kids trying to get out of an Indian reservation. And then you also have Echo, which is an upcoming series on Disney Plus from Marvel, which will be the first series to star in not only an indigenous woman, but a deaf woman. So it's a cool thing to see happening kind of all at the same time.
Also, Rutherford Falls.
Of course, Rutherford Falls.
Andy which from I think is The Office, which is excellent. And then also Yellowstone. I mean, there's a moment right now where indigenous characters and actors are being really highlighted.
Yeah, and this has been a long time coming. This is of obviously America lacks representation in a lot of elements of its pop culture, but indigenous groups are a big one. So it's cool to see this finally turning around, and it's cool to see Prey landing as well and as successfly as it has. And I think we'll see a lot more of its star Amber Mid-Thunder in the near future.
Great name, by the way.
Predator.
Yeah, great name.
Prey. Predator and Prey.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying Pray this entire time. I thought that's why we were covering it, is that it was a hit movie called
Go back to
Prey.
sleep, bro.
Yeah.
Go back to sleep. Go back to sleep, bro.
Eat, Pray, Love. That's the sequel to the prequel. Eat, Pray, Love. It's a whole different plot. But
then you are prey if you will be eaten, and then there's love at the end. I don't know how they get there.
It reminds me of one time I wanted to submit a sketch to SNL, and it was called To Catch a Predator. And it was like Chris Hansen at the house, like waiting to catch a bad guy, and like a predator from the movie, like the Predator rolls up in a Miata. He's got like Mike's Heart Lemonade.
Mike's Heart Lemonade.
What were you planning on doing here tonight?
Get to the chopper.
SNL does not take unsolicited sketches, and that was the extent of the joke.
What do you think is Reader's Digest? You just submit a joke or something? Like,
yeah, I also realized the budget for the sketch would be pretty substantial. We need a very authentic Predator costume.
all right, well, there's a lot more where that came from. Make sure relevantmagazine.com is part of your daily web browsing. We're covering everything at the intersection of faith, life, culture, and justice every weekday. And also make sure to follow us on the socials for the latest. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We're posting all the time. All right, thanks, Tyler. Au revoir.
Au revoir. Bye, everybody.
Stay tuned. Up next, 1K Phew joins us.
Before I spit a hallelujah, I'ma need a hearse. Cause I ain't finna let nobody hold me out here. My pockets on Buddha.
Fat.
Church, but demons still gotta pay the toll around here. Big Glock, keep heavy metal like Kid Rock. Never let a sig hide, shoot to my wrist like if the opposition make a pit stop by the drip drop, get popped while some kid box playing. Yeah. All my daughters know that this ain't only talk. My only thought is how to make a chopper, make a op escape from round this hole like Tony Hawk. Yeah, tell skateboard Pete this a buffet. I'm from where they handle more keys than ballet. Whole squad grip beans, but it's in the ballet. So if you hear that boom boom, all I can say is, Lord forgive me, Lord forgive me, Lord forgive me, Lord.
You're listening to Tobe Nwigwe, Pharrell Williams, Earth Gang. The song is Lord Forgive Me. Some awesome collabs that Tobe's doing right now. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by John Mark Comer's book, Garden City, a book that speaks to the tension we all feel between work, rest, and purpose. The New York Times best-selling author John Mark Comer takes us to the scriptures to identify what it really means to be human and flips the script on the idea that who you are matters, not what you do. He shows that God created us for meaningful work and meaningful rest. Both matter. This book helps you ask and answer the big questions. Does God care where I work? Is there a direction for my life? So you can discern God's heart for your calling, your rhythms, and the way His Spirit wants to shape every part of your life. If you're longing for purpose and a more grounded way to live, check out the new hardcover edition of Garden City wherever books are sold.
Well, today's show is brought to you in part by the new book, God, the Science, the Evidence. We talk a lot about faith, but how often do we talk about science in the same breath? You might be surprised to discover just how deeply the two actually agree. For centuries, science has been used to dismiss the idea of God, but today an intellectual revolution is underway. Modern discoveries in physics, cosmology, and biology are consistently revealing the same truth: creation isn't an accident. That profound reversal is what engineers Michel-Yves Bolloré and Olivier Bonassi investigate in their international bestseller, God, the Science, the Evidence. This book is a rigorous, evidence-based critique of materialism, inviting you to explore over a dozen scientific, philosophical, and historical domains. It shows that what was once seemed impossible, that science could point to a creator, is now supported by a vast and convergent body of evidence. With over 400,000 copies sold in Europe, this book is sparking a global debate. It's thoughtful, fascinating, and a powerful reminder that reason itself affirms the existence of God. Learn more and find out where you can purchase your copy today by visiting godthesciencetheevidence.com.
Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Erwin McManus's book, The Barbarian Way. Some books don't just inspire you, they confront you. The Barbarian Way, now celebrating its 20th anniversary, is one of those books. If you felt the pull of God towards something deeper and wilder than the safe, predictable version of faith that we settle for, McManus reminds us that following Jesus was never meant to be tame. It's meant to awaken courage, passion, and purpose God placed inside us. He draws from the wild stories of Abel, Noah, Moses, Rahab, and others to remind us that following God wasn't meant to be tame. Safe faith isn't working. Step into the story God is writing for you. Choose passion, choose boldness, choose the Barbarian Way. Available now wherever books are sold. Well, today we're joined by 1K Phew. He's one of our favorite Christian hip hop artists, and he is on Reach Records. He dropped his album No Church in a While earlier this year. Since then, he's been busy in the studio putting his creativity to good use. He's got a brand new song out today. We spoke with him about how he's using his life to give voice to the next generation and what success can and should look like. Here's our conversation with 1K Phew.
Like the mediated up like a deep dish. How many times I put them on the reach list? Sliding on the beat by Metro. Y'all's probably riding on the Metro. We in London where they call the gas petrol. Sign a record deal and hit the road, let's go. 20,000 in the crowd on stages. Birthday bash in Atlanta was amazing. Went to Diddy house with me, that's a day trip. They ain't know you really living in the Matrix. I seen them come straight out the east. Zaytoven gave him some beats. I told a young lion go eat. Follow the shepherd, watch out for the...
First, let's start with, you have a new song coming out. What can you tell me about it?
Yeah, man, Church House Trap House. Basically, just telling my background of where I came from. Just growing up in church on the, on the east side, Decatur, Georgia. Just telling that story. I grew up in church all my life. At the same time, it was in a kind of rough area. And I seen a lot of stuff that, I didn't really know what it was for real. All the stuff that comes with the hood and just all that culture stuff. And I didn't really realize what it was. I was so young, but I was just around it still. And it kind of gave me the culture, and it kind of gave me, an insight on certain things. So that's where the title came from, Church House Trap House. My church was literally sitting next to a trap house. You see what I'm saying? It's just me really expounding on that environment where I came from and just really kind of paint that picture so people can understand more.
I love that you seem so passionate about speaking to the generation that you're a part of, because I think this next generation, there's a lot that they're facing and it can be tough. So, what would you say, what is kind of the hope that you have for your generation and for their future?
Man, my hope is that everybody will find their purpose and just stop following behind what they think they should do. It's a lot of people, especially with social media, they look at social media and look at different things and think that they're supposed to move a certain way and act a certain way. But really the main recipe, and this is what I realized too, I didn't get it at first either. I had to realize that really the main recipe is just being yourself. It's you'll be way more comfortable if you just be yourself. I used to be around certain people, and I used to be nervous to be myself because I didn't come from their culture and I didn't come from where they came from. I just really want everybody to just follow their purpose and just start following the trend, man, and start creating the trends. You see what I'm saying? Because that's one of my main things. Like, I like to create trends instead of follow. So I just feel like everyone, has their own purpose and their own passion. So I mean, once everybody figures out what that is, I mean, everything will flow smoothly.
Oh yeah, get out the way. What you want me to stay for? Every night gotta pray for my NWAs. 1KF on the race. Now they looking amazed. We don't really get phased. Try to shoot that, and that's where the loot at. Where was you at? We had to go through that. Went on too bad, that work in my boo bag. If you knew that, then why would you do that? Finally got out that jungle, we coolin'. You ain't perfect, but who is you fooling? Heard you used to be bunking and booming. I start laughing when they keep assuming. And I'm fighting for real like I'm Scottish. Till lick up and you see how we got it. And it will get real if you do it like that. Stay down with it, full flat.
I feel like you've mentioned this a few times, this idea of like success and being successful. What does being successful look like to you specifically?
Man, being successful to me is being able to put your loved ones in a better position. Being successful is changing others' lives, really. Like when you're in a position to change other people's lives and to keep that cycle going, I feel like that's success. Like you can make a drastic change for the good in the community and anywhere you go. Like I feel like that's success. So, I mean, I'm just trying to figure out how to open up more doors so people can have better opportunities for their family, because there's a lot of people that I was around growing up who didn't have no opportunities like with their family and just grew up in broken homes and, different things. And there weren't really a lot of opportunities for people to even, see a brighter future. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to give people an opportunity to see that they can have a bright future, because a lot of people don't even, they literally can't even see having a bright future. Mm-hmm. So my idea of success is just being a game changer, like really changing people's lives for real, like really saving souls, and really being a servant. It's like when you at a position, when you at a certain position or a certain role, it's like the best leader is the best servant. You feel what I'm saying? It's like, if you're a good leader, you're going to know how to serve. You're going to know how to take care of your people and take care of your team. So, that's my idea of success when I think about success.
Yeah. And I love that you talk about how like the idea of a leader being a servant, because I feel like that is a really big part of being a leader that unfortunately a lot of people miss out on.
Yeah.
But it's like so important to be humble. So like as you're gaining success, what are you doing to make sure that you still keep that servant mentality or that humility?
So really just being fed and really just having a good surrounding, good community around me. Not having a bunch of yes men around me, and, just keeping my head, straight and being around my family. I stay out the way. Like I don't get into anything. I'm a real family man. I'm a husband. Once I take all this rap gear off, I am a father, like for real. So it's like, I really just stay out the way, and I don't really just, a lot of people just go places where they ain't really got no business going. So, it's like, you just got to have that discernment, and you really got to you got to be connected with God. And I ain't gonna lie, like you got to get in that word too, because it's like the Bible really got all type of cheat codes in it for you to not even stumble on certain stuff. So it's like, I don't know. It's like, I really have common sense at the end of the day. So I just really just stay in my lane and just, hear from God, really.
I came so far that I'm not. I used to wonder why my uncle was in that kitchen with all them pots. I used to wonder why my pastor was in that room with all them Glocks. Church house, sitting right next to that trap house. Yeah, church house, sitting right next to that trap house. Let's go. East side of the cater. You ain't gotta worry about nothing.
That was 1K Phew. Make sure to check out his brand new single, Church House, Trap House. It released today. And also don't miss his album, No Church in a While. It's out now. Stick around. Up next, it's your feedback.
And I tried with you enough. No matter how deep I fell in your arms, I'd never get to you, my love. And when you're stuck inside, you seem to forget your whole life. Now I'm never gonna get you by my side, so I pull the plane doors open, I fall so low.
You're listening to Julian. The song is Solo. Okay, it's time for your feedback. Well, last week we got talking about political parties and the need, and actually there is a third party that just got launched, the Forward Party, and we got thinking about other parties that should be launched to fully represent the spectrum of America. So we asked you, if you were creating a new political party in the U.S., what would it be? What would it look like? You hit us up on Twitter at Relevant Podcast, and here's some of our favorites.
So before we get into the craziness, I got to make sure we start off with Joshua Hogarth, because I know it's some crazy ones in here, but Joshua said the moderate party, key platforms, decriminalize possession of drugs, increase penalties for sex crimes, especially against children, create policies that benefit both sides, flat tax rate, reduce government spending, and end campaign finance fraud. Now, everybody go into the rest of them.
Joshua took it serious.
Joshua took his homework serious, and he actually gave us some solutions. So now we're going to get into the best ones.
His big flaw is it makes too much sense. Okay, that's not going to work in American politics. I like Cheryl's here. The church potluck party. Just as many crazies, but better food. Yeah, well.
I like it.
I liked Alex's Pedro party. He'll make all of our wildest dreams come true. I watched Napoleon Dynamite, I think, every single day for like 2 months straight in the 5th grade. It really shaped a lot of my humor and who I am as a person. So I will absolutely be voting for the Pedro party because loved it in 5th grade. Love it now.
Did you see just a random kid on TikTok that was going around this week? I saw the video. He was at Dave & Buster's, and hanging out at Dave & Buster's was Pedro and Napoleon, like literally the two actors. I love the fact that 15 years later, they're just friends hanging out at Dave & Buster's.
That's
so the kid went up and put him on the video, and they were both super cool about it and did like little sayings as their character, whatever. But
the dream.
I think it's funny. They still hang out at Dave & Buster's.
I think they were friends before. Like, I think they made the film because they were friends. I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere. And then obviously, they've just stayed friends because they've been in a few other movies together.
Yeah, they're part of like the Jared Hess universe, the filmmaker who made that.
I do love kind of sticking along with the church potluck theme, Adam's The Pizza Party. That does take me back to my elementary school days as well, because there was nothing better than pizza party days.
Man.
When you knew it was happening all day. You had to get through,
that's right,
the pointless paperwork that your teacher gave you. But then you got the smallest piece.
The smallest sliver. They took a normal slice and sliced it. I mean, it was like
you had pizza of a normal slice.
Right. They ordered a $10 pizza and they cut that mug into 35 pieces.
They ordered one medium pizza for 20 kids.
Well, and if you're lucky, you get a slice. If you're really unlucky, they're going to cut that thing into cubes. They're going to go Little Caesar style. And everyone gets a little cube, and it's got the little meat cubes on it, and it's technically pizza.
You get one meat cube each.
When y'all got up to your turn to grab your slice, did you take a slice and make sure everybody had their slices before you went back for your next slice?
No.
Or did you grab all the slices you're gonna want because it's your turn to grab, and who cares if somebody runs out before they get theirs?
Nah, teachers weren't finna do that at my school. Boy, put that back!
It's one at a time.
Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, I think the teacher handed us the plate, so we couldn't even pick.
They wasn't trusted, because if that system would not work in my school.
Halloween.
It would be like a pack of hyenas.
Please take one. You put the bowl out there. It's empty after the second kid. Yeah.
It's a wrap.
Yeah. But then there's always, but then there's a scenario where you're at the party and there's that, there's three of the boxes of pizza each have a slice left because no one wants to take the last one. Let's just open up a new box before we take the last one, because it's such a social faux pas to take the last slice of pizza.
But if there's more boxes underneath it, it's not.
Because we was like, oh, it's one piece left? Bow, done. Hey, I didn't get one. Hey, too bad.
Snooze, you lose.
Snooze, you lose.
Too slow.
You can learn a lot of lessons from the pizza party. That's the takeaway.
That's what we're learning.
That joint was like
Lord
of the Flies. No lie.
The pizza party is the childhood equivalent of the shopping cart in the parking lot as an adult. If you're not a person who returns the shopping cart to the corral and you just leave it to wander the parking lot, hit cars, clog up the...
Disagree.
That's the dividing line and thoughtfulness as an adult. Taking the last slice or taking too many as a kid at the pizza party. Same. Those people are the ones leaving shopping carts willy-nilly as adults.
Jesse, are you the shopping cart? I'm assuming you leave the shopping carts wherever you just want to.
Can I explain though? Because look,
it does not matter what you say. I am judging you so hard.
Are you boosting the economy? Are you giving employment to somebody who has to clean up after you? Is that your rationale?
Hey, have any of you guys worked at Big K? Have any of you
providing jobs to your local economy? That's what you're doing.
Not only am I providing jobs, it's the best job in the grocery store. When it's your turn to go walk around the cart, because here's why: when you're working the register, it's stressful, man. People do not treat retail workers right. Thanks. When you're doing restocking, it's a lot of work. When the manager's like, hey, you're on cart duty, go round them up. No, take your sweet time out there. You get to go outside, you get to walk around the parking lot, you do a couple laps. You're hoping there's shopping carts all over. That's best case scenario, because you're like, all right, this is like an hour of the day right now that I'm just wandering around the parking lot.
I judge adults that leave the shopping cart next to their car and don't return it.
You should not, because
you selfish person not thinking about the people coming after you.
I feel like you actually push it even farther into the parking lot. Like you unload your groceries and then you push it off.
If you work at a cool grocery store or Target or something, you get one of those little robots that pushes them with you. Like you're depriving someone of use of that cool robot if you do their job for them. Okay, like you're doing somebody's job for them. Someone is paid to go pick up that cart, and I'm providing them with an opportunity to have the best job in the grocery store. Yeah. Grocery store employees listening, please tweet us and let me know if you look forward to picking up the carts, because for me, it was the highlight of the day.
Absolutely no one's going to say they enjoy this.
Not one person.
I think if they live in Southern California and it's lovely weather year round, maybe. Yeah. Maybe everything you're saying is true. But if you live in the swampy South in July and you're making that kid leave the air conditioning to go clean up your mess outside, that is thoughtless, my friend.
Listen, it's better than working in the corral. That's the big pan of mulch out behind the grocery store. Now, that's a hot afternoon.
What grocery store has mulch?
It's literally a walk in the park.
You're talking about Kmart. You're just talking about Kmart trauma. Grocery stores don't have mulch corrals. All right, here we go. That's it for last week's. Go check out the replies. There's a lot of them. Okay, it's time for this week's
editorial question of the week.
Well, earlier in the show, I was publicly shamed for my background. Yes, my background. Exactly. Hey, yes. I also watch The Office on background.
Rightfully so.
Parks and Rec. Those are background too. It's not always just the Real Housewives franchise.
Own it.
Anyway, we want to know, what's your guilty pleasure? Maybe your binge show. What's your guilty pleasure show that you come back to that like your friends would shame you on a public podcast over, but you're like, all right, this is cool. This is me. I enjoy this. What's your guilty pleasure show? And we do not want to know about the #1 website in the world. We want to know about television shows you can stream.
Oh my God.
Hit us up on Twitter.
We have an article you should read on relevantmagazine.com if that's the case. I'm not going to even tell you what to Google, okay? So you'll figure it out. Trust me. A lot of people do. A lot of people figure it out. They learn this one the hard way.
You'll find
it. Trust us.
Hit us up on Twitter at Relevant Podcast and tell us your guilty pleasure show that you enjoy that your friends would shame you for.
Dog, I just imagine somebody being saved off that article, Cameron. Is like that's like a testimony one day.
We get to heaven. Our crown is bigger than we thought it'd be. It's like, well done, my good and faithful servant. You wrote an article in 2011 that saved countless lives.
Thousands of lives have been saved off of this relevant. Somebody felt so bad.
Thousands are learning about an important issue, are entering in the kingdom, and they also clicked on a really nice related link to read an interview with the Arcade Fire. So it's a win-win for everyone.
All right, hit us up on Twitter at Relevant Podcast. We'll read our favorites next week. Well, before we wrap things up, I want to thank 1K Phew for joining us. Make sure to check out his brand new single, Church House Trap House. It just came out today, and his album, No Church in a While, came out a little earlier this year. Also, if you haven't already, make sure to go check out Relevant Plus. A lot of podcasts have Patreons, people who love the show and support it through Patreon. Our version of Patreon is Relevant Plus. Patreon, you get some exclusives and extras and things like that. And that's what this is too. By supporting Relevant and this show with Relevant Plus for as low as $2.50 a month, you get an ad-free version of this podcast. You get an exclusive subscriber podcast. You get unlimited articles and ad-free reading at relevantmagazine.com. And you also get an enhanced ad-free version of our digital magazine, plus more. Go check out all the plans and see which one is right for you at relevantmagazine.com. Just click on the Relevant Plus tab. I think you'll like it. It's the best way to experience our content. Also, while you're at the site, make sure to check out our summer issue presented for free by our friends at World Vision. Features conversations with Naomi Rain, John Favreau, Rainn Wilson, and so much more. Again, Relevant Plus subscribers, your enhanced download designed version is available in your account dashboard right there at the site. And if you aren't a Relevant Plus subscriber, you can see it for free by clicking the magazine tab at relevantmagazine.com. Thanks to World Vision. Oh, also, last thing, if you like the show, tell people. Rate it, review it wherever you listen. It helps the algorithm, helps other people to, find it. If you don't like it, keep it to yourself. But whether it's Apple Podcasts or Spotify or anywhere else, fresh ratings and reviews helps boost the show. And we love to see the feedback. So tell your friends, go rate it and review it, and tweet us at Relevant Podcast. We love to hear from you. On that note, we'll wrap it up. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Derek Miner.
I'm Emily Brown.
We'll see you next time. Have a great week, everyone.
Thanks for listening to the Relevant Podcast. Check out our features, interviews, and news updates every day at relevantmagazine.com. And make sure to follow Relevant on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest. For more great podcasts, browse the shows on the Relevant Podcast Network, which you can find at our site. And while you're there, don't miss the all-new era of Relevant Magazine. A new issue releases every other month at relevantmagazine.com.
But first, this segment's brought to you by Jan's Buttermilk Biscuits.
Relevant Podcast Network.